Good morning, student. Welcome to the second lecture of unit number 3, that is digital forensic. In the last lecture, we have discussed about what is digital forensic, brief history of digital forensic. We have also seen different commercial and open source tools available in the area of digital forensic. Now, in today's lecture, we will discuss about the process of digital forensic. So, before going on steps of digital forensic, let's see the definition of digital forensic. So digital forensic is defined as the process of preservation, identification, extraction and documentation of computer evidence which can be used by the court of law. So digital forensic is the process of identification, extraction and documentation of computer evidence in such a way that it can be used by the court of law to prove someone guilty. Okay, so it is a science of hiding evidence from digital media. So as name suggests, digital forensic, it means that it involves the evidences in the form of digital. So the evidences from digital media, like which are the digital medias? Computer, mobile phone, server or network. Okay, so it is a science of finding evidences from this type, these all digital medias. Then it provides the forensic team with the base techniques and tools to solve complicated digital related cases. So along with this process, it provides expert in this particular area with the base techniques and tools to solve the complicated cases. So which are the tools available in the market? We have seen in the previous lecture like Belkasoft, Apteki, InCase. Okay, so these all tools are available in this area to solve the digital related cases. So this is all about the digital forensic. Okay, so digital forensic helps the forensic team to analyze, to inspect, identify and preserve the digital evidences residing on various types of electronic devices. Why only from various types of electronic devices? Because it is a digital forensic. It involves digital evidences. Okay, that means the evidences that to be collected from electronic means or from the electronic devices. Okay, so this is the background of digital forensic. Now in today's lecture, we have to specifically discuss about the processes involved in digital forensic investigation. Okay, so let's start with the process. So these are the steps of digital forensic. First one is identification, means identify the purpose of investigation, identify the resources required. Second one is preservation. Preservation means data is isolate, secure and preserved. Then analysis. Analysis deals with the identification of tools and techniques to use. It involves processing of data, interpretation and analysis of results. Then fourth step is that documentation. So documentation deals with the documentation of crime scenes along with the photographing, sketching and crime scene mapping. And the last step is presentation. So it is a process of summarization and explanation of conclusions is done with the help to gather facts. Okay, so let's study each in detail. So the first step is identification. So it is the first step in the forensic process. The identification process mainly includes things like that what evidence is present, it means which type of evidence is present, where it is stored, that means on which device it is stored, and lastly how it is stored, it means that in which format that evidence is stored. Okay, so what is the identification process? It includes what type of evidence is present, where it is present, and lastly, in which format it is present or in which format it is stored. Okay. So electronic storage media, where it is stored. So electronic storage media are come under this question. So electronic media can be your personal computers, it can be your mobile phones, it can be your PDAs, tablets, your hard disks, and so on. Okay, so these all questions are comes under the identification process. That means identifying the purpose of investigation and identifying the resources required. Then next step is preservation. So in this phase, data is isolated, secured, and preserved. It means that it includes preventing people from using the digital devices so that digital evidence is not tampered with. It means that if preservation is not there, it means that if people are not preventing from using the digital devices, it is impossible to retrieve the digital evidence, because if preservation is not there, then anyone can deal with the data. Okay, and digital evidences are so much delicate. So if anyone can deal with that data, it is impossible to retrieve that evidences. Okay, and that's why preservation step is very much important in this digital forensic investigation process. Okay, so what preservation includes? Data is to be isolated, secure, and preserved. That means it prevents people from using the digital devices so that digital evidences is not tampered. It means that integrity should be maintained with that data during the investigation process. Then third step is analysis. So in this step, investigation agents reconstruct fragments of data and draw conclusions based on the evidence found. It means that it involves interpretation and analysis of that data. It involves interpretation and analysis of that evidence so that they can draw conclusions based on the evidences found. So it might take numerous iterations of examination to support a specific crime theory. It might take numerous iterations of examination means it might involve number of steps to draw the conclusion from the evidence. So it involves identifying tools and techniques. It involves processing of data, and after that interpretation and analysis of the result. Then fourth step is documentation. So in this process, a record of all the visible data must be created. Okay, so it helps in recreating the crime scenes and reviewing it. It means that it documents all the crime scenes along with the photographs, along with the sketches and crime scene mapping. And the last step is presentation, which involves the process of summarization and explanation of conclusion is done. So, however, it should be written in layperson's terms. That means it should be written in such a term which can be understood by common man. That means your documentation and your presentation is such a way that it should be understandable by the common person. It should be understandable by common man by using some abstract terminologies. Okay, so all the abstract terminologies should reference with the specific details. Each and every specific detail must be included in that documentation and presentation. Okay, so these are the basic and common steps involved in digital forensic investigation. That means identification of evidence, then preservation of that digital evidence, then analysis and interpretation of that evidence, and then documentation of the crime scene. And after that, there should be presentation, there should be summarization, and explanation of the conclusion drawn from the evidence. Okay, so these are the basic steps. Now let's talk about the specific and particular process involved in digital forensic. Okay, so what is forensic process? Now there are number of digital forensic frameworks in use by private companies and law enforcement agencies. Okay, but the one that we will discuss in this lecture is one of the simplest one, and all the others are variations on this theme, making subdivisions of certain steps to create additional stages or looping around to emphasize the iterative nature of some steps. That is, evidence assessment may reveal evidence which in turn exposes new evidences and which may trigger further evidence assessment. Okay, so here notice that each step has been created in line with a specified principle, and these principles are in line with the principles used to support the gathering of evidence, examination of evidence, documentation, and reporting on digital evidence. It means that each and every forensic process that we are going to discuss, there are some principles, and based on that principle there are some considerations. Okay, so let's see each and every process one by one. These are the basic process, these are the basic steps involved in digital forensic, and now we are going to discuss about particular steps, specified uh, steps in digital forensic process. So first one is the policy and procedure development. So computer forensic requires specially trained personnel in sound digital evidence recovery techniques. Okay, now we know that in digital forensic investigation, we need some experts. Okay, we need some trained personnel for the sound digital evidence recovery. It is not such easy task that anyone can do it. For that, we require some experts in this particular area. So the primary aim of any digital forensic investigation is to allow others to follow the same procedures and steps and still end with the same results and consideration. And considerable efforts must be spent on developing policies and standard operating procedures, in short, which are called as SOP, in how to deal with each step and phase of the investigation. Okay, so it allows others to follow the same procedures and steps. It means that in the previous lecture, we have seen there are 6 rules of digital forensic investigation. So each investigator must have to follow these steps during their investigation and examination. Likewise, here also, it is the primary aim of digital forensic investigation to follow the same procedures and steps and to end with the same result and conclusion. Okay, so it is compulsion to the investigator to follow the steps and process during the investigation, which is called as standard operating procedures. Okay, so how to deal with each step and phase of the investigation. So which are these steps? First one is evidence assessment, data acquisition, that means collection, data preparation, data extraction, data analysis, then conclusion, after that documentation and reporting, that means presentation. Okay, now here documentation step comes under presentation. Okay, so these are the basic steps that must be followed by the investigator during their investigation or examination of an digital evidences. So let's see the first step, that is evidence assessment. Okay, so Principle is that in the evidence assessment, principle is that, as I told you, in this forensic process, first we will talk about the principle, and after that some considerations based on that principle. Okay, so in evidence assessment, the principle is that all sources of possible digital evidence should be thoroughly assessed with respect to the scope of the case, and this will help to establish the size of the investigation and determine the next steps. So all the sources of possible digital evidences should be thoroughly assessed, and after that this assessment will help us to establish the size of our investigation, and it help us to determine which will be our next step during investigation. So special attention should be given to reviewing the scope of search warrants and other legal authorizations to establish the nature of hardware and software to be seized. So the other potential evidence sought together with the circumstances surrounding the acquisition of the evidence to be examined. It means that during this process, that means during evidence assessment, your some hardware and softwares are need to be seized. As diagram shows that it is your hard disk which is seized by the legal authority. Okay, that means this hard disk is seized for the assessment of evidences. Then which are the considerations in the evidence assessment? First one is that, do other forensic processes need to be performed on the evidence? For example, DNA analysis and fingerprint, etc. As I told you, this hard disk is seized by the higher authority for the assessment of evidences. So it might be possible from this hard disk we can get some fingerprints. Okay, so it means that other forensic processes are need to be performed on these evidences. For example, DNA analysis and fingerprints, etc. Then second consideration is that decide if other avenues of investigation need to be pursued. For example, sending a preservation order to an internet service provider, or identifying remote storage locations, or obtaining email. So along with this hard disk, sometimes it happens that some other avenues of the investigation need to be pursued. Then third consideration, decide, establish the nature of potential evidence being sought. It means that, for example, photographs, spreadsheets, documents, databases, and financial records. Fourth consideration, decide whether if additional information regarding the case is required. So which type of additional information can be required in case? For example, aliases, email accounts. Sometimes email accounts are also required in the case to solve the case. Then IP, ISPUs, that is Internet Service Providers, ISP names, sometimes network configurations and users, system logs also needed during the case. So these are the additional information regarding the case. Also password and usernames are also involved, comes under this area. So this information may be obtained through the interviews with the system administrator, with the network administrator, with the users and employees also. Then next consideration is other non-computer equipment that might be used in forgery or fraud cases, such as laminators, credit card banks, check papers, scanners, and printers. So these are the other non-computer equipments that might be used in such cases. So which are those? Laminators, credit cards, check papers, scanner, and printers. And also in child pornography, in child pornography cases, digital cameras are also considered in non-computer equipment. And the last consideration is that the skill level of those involved. The skilled users may be used advanced techniques to conceal or destroy the evidences. Some skilled user may use advanced techniques to conceal or destroy the evidences. That means they can use encryption methods, they can use some trapping methods and steganography also to conceal the information, to conceal the evidences, to destroy the evidences, and to hide the evidences. So these are the considerations which are considered during evidence assessment. Okay, so this is our second process. Now let's talk about evidence acquisition. In the evidence acquisition, principle is that digital evidence is fragile and can be easily altered, damaged, or destroyed by the improper handling or examination. As I told you, in the preservation process, your data is isolated, secure, and preserved. It means that it prevents others from dealing with the data. Okay, so that your evidences might not be destroyed. Okay, so the data acquisition, the principle in evidence acquisition tells about the digital evidences can be easily altered, damaged, or destroyed by improper handling or the improper examination. So even the act of opening files can alter timestamp information. Even you open the timestamp information, it also destroy your information. Okay, on when the file was last accessed. Okay, destroy the information like when the file was last accessed. So special precautions are needed to be preserved this type of evidences. Failure to do so may render it unusual or lead to an inaccurate conclusions. So care must be taken while handling the evidences, especially digital evidences. So which are the considerations comes under this process? First one is fully document the hardware and software configuration of the examiner system as well as the digital evidences being examined. And this includes boot setting, the exact hardware configuration, log on password, etc. As I told you about timestamp information. When you open a timestamp file, it destroys information like when the file was last accessed. Likewise, the hardware and software configuration of the examiner system are needed to be examined because it includes some boot setting, it includes the exact hardware configuration, it includes your log files, passwords, etc. Second consideration is that verify that the hardware and software of the examiner system is working properly so as to be sure that anything found by the examiner is not due to misconfiguration of the examiner's equipment. It should be necessary to verify the hardware and software of the examiner system whether they are working properly or not. Okay, because it is needed to be sure that anything it is needed to be sure that anything might not be found by the examiner due to the misconfiguration of examiner's equipment. Third consideration is that disconnect storage devices to prevent the destruction, damage, or alteration of data. It means that sometimes we use power connector or data cable from the back of the drive or from the motherboard. Okay, so it is necessary to disconnect such storage devices like power connector, data cable to prevent the destruction, damage, and alteration of data. And the last consideration is that identify and obtain storage devices required to image, make an exact copy of the original data so that forensic examination can be conducted on a copy rather than the original one. In the previous lecture, we have seen 6 rules of digital forensic investigation, in which first rule is that digital forensic investigation has not to be done on original copy. Okay, this is the first rule, that digital investigation, it is not allowed to be done on original copy. Okay, and the fourth consideration tells about the same fact, is that make an exact copy of the original data. Do not perform investigation on original data. Okay, so forensic examination can be conducted on copy rather than original copy. Okay, so these are the considerations which are comes under the evidence acquisition. So in the today's lecture, we have discussed about what is digital forensic, then which are the basic steps involved in digital forensic, like identification, preservation, analysis, documentation, and presentation. After that, we have discussed about some specific process comes under the digital forensic investigation. Okay, in which we specifically discuss about first process, that is policy and procedure development. Second one is evidence assessment, considerations which are comes under evidence assessment, and the third one is evidence acquisition along with the considerations which are comes under the evidence acquisition. In the next lecture, we will discuss about some more processes involved in digital forensic investigation.